Ayo, everybody, and happy St. Patty's Day, which today I'm gonna be doing a little St. Patty's Day special, going with an Irish punk band that was probably the pioneer of Irish punk, really, the Pogues. Really, and when you say the Pogues, you're talking about the brilliance of Shane McGowan. We'll be doing The Body of an American by the Pogues, which is super Irish American song at that, where St. Patty's Day is a huge day here in America, as it's like a big, thank you, as this country was basically fucking built off of a lot of Irish, labor and works and, fought in most, all those wars basically up and around the time when they had the great, Irish famine in the 1850s. So why they fought into the, Civil War here, etc. Um, so yeah, we'll be talking about this song because this is probably my favorite fucking song of all time. Like, if I have like a top five favorite songs of all time, it's probably in there. It might be number one, but it changes on my mood, of course, and everything. But this one's definitely always going to be in that top five. I listen to it nonstop. When every time I get like at the end and the Spotify tells me what I've been listening to, Body of Americans like always fucking on there. Um, and because this song is just such a great, I'll read the lyrics and we'll kind of talk about it, of course, but this one is such a just the Irish American feel. And I got a chance to actually go to Ireland this last August and really just learn like this culture that's just full of fucking tragedies, and how artistic and musical, and the way they still preserve their culture, and just like all the shit that they had to go through and everywhere. Like they were, like a lot of cultures always, they were always considered like the scum of Europe, and the English just did them totally wrong. Like the Irish really, really had a fucking hard time, and it makes sense to why they built this country and stuff. So be talking about this, and I'll talk a little bit about the man Shane McGowan, who died tragically. I think it was like last year or the year before. Where the Pogues are still going around stuff, but I mean, he was just, you know, the dude looked like, when you watch videos of him back in the 70s doing his thing, he looked like he was on death's door then, you know. But he's just horrible alcoholic, like a lot of, one of the biggest plagues of Ireland, the Irish people, is the drinking. Um, and he just lived through it. He always just like looked like this freaking, like a haunted house, had like a fucking pin or something, but musically and lyrically and poetically a genius. Like he could slap, and that's what this song is. They basically took a eulogy and he slapped an accordion on it and made it a fucking, you know, parade, or whatever you want to call this song. It's just, I mean, it's a complete send off, which is what it is. That's what I really like about the Irish too, is to where they are such, they live in such tragedy. They don't have time to like really grieve and mourn and that stuff. No, this guy died. We all die. Lots of people die. There's death all around every corner. So it's always like you take it into a celebration. You make a fucking party out of the person's life. You don't mourn them, you celebrate them. And that's what's going on in this song, where they basically start talking about this legend of a man named Jim Dwyer, and what he did, and all the, legacy that he has, mixed in with, of course, this, all this Irish feel here. And we'll break it down. We'll talk about it. But just one big, powerful Irish send off. Um, so let's get that part out of the way first too. We go over the lyrics, and then I'll kind of go over the lyrics one by one, um, as as I keep going through the meaning of a body of an American. And also, cool thing is there's no like real videos for this song, which I always check because it was written a long time ago. On the special version of an album too, if you just buy the album, Rum Sodomy and the Lash, you have to buy a special version that has this song on it, because like it came delayed or whatever. So it's like it was really hard to actually kind of find this song. You buy their 30-year. I have like almost every Pogue CD. They're again one of my favorite bands of all time. Um, Very punk, which almost every Irish band, Irish song is like has that fucking just rawness and realness, to where I think it falls in that punk category too. It's like, I mean, I don't care how like folky it gets. It's just it's fucking. I mean, Johnny Light. I mean, the Irish, huge influence on punk, obviously. At least, and I think in music in general too. We wouldn't have had modern music without this fucking culture. Um, all right, let's get to the lyrics here, right? So, all right, starting off, body. Oh, what I was gonna, before I start ranting off and all, and I'm even drinking me little Ireland cup. Happy St. Patty's Day, everyone. We make this day a big holiday in our house, because we have different. We're mostly pagan anyways, but we don't really celebrate Easter. So We make it Leprechaun's Day, St. Patty's Day. Kids go and they have a nice, fun treasure hunt. That's gifts left from the leprechaun. They have to go around the house and stuff. So, and we always do the corned beef, cabbage, the mash, and um, we make a real fun family holiday out of this. Actually, it's not just all about drinking for us. We have we watch little Irish movies, tell some listen to Irish music, tell some Irish tales, and the kids do get some gifts on today after a real fun treasure hunt left by the leprechaun. So that's how we celebrate it, anyways. Um, anyhow, all right, let's get to that. And again, I'm rambling. There's no video for the song, but if you watch The Wire, one of those Irish cops or whatever, which happens a lot, maybe dirty, I don't know. But they do all at the while the guy dies, they make his eulogy this lyrics of this song too, which is pretty cool. Wire's a good one of the probably the all-time best fucking series on HBO, and the lyrics of the songs there. And then the song from the Pogues as well, Side McLennan, is a little bit after this one, which I maybe I should do a little talk on that song too. There's just so Pogues have so many good ones. I could do every probably song by them. But all right, anyhow, one of my all-time faves, probably one of my favorite songs of all time. Happy St. Patty's Day. Let's go over these lyrics. So, Body American, the Cadillac stood by the house, and the Yanks they were within, and the Tinker boys they hissed advice. How wire her with a pin. When we turned and shook, we had a look in the room where the dead man lay. So big was Jim Dwyer, made his last trip to the shores where his fathers laid. But 15 minutes later, we had our first taste of whiskey. There was uncles giving lectures on ancient Irish history. The men all started telling jokes, and the women, they got frisky. By 5 o'clock in the evening, every bastard there was tipsy. Fare thee well, gone away, there's nothing left to say. Farewell to New York City boys, to Boston and PA. He took them out with a well-aimed clout. We often heard him say, I'm a free-born man of the USA. He fought the champ in Pittsburgh and he slashed him to the ground. He took on Tiny Tantalera. It only went one round. He never had no time for reds, for drink or dice or whores, but he could never throw a fight when the fight was right, so they sent him to the war. Fare thee well, gone away, there's nothing left to say. With a slant to Joe and Aaron go bra, my love's in a Mary Kay. The calling out the rosary, Spanish wine from far away. I'm a free born man in the USA. Yeah, and there's a huge freaking like little accordion Irish fucking solo there. It's amazing. Just hearing this song, and it's almost hard for me to read it without like having that rhythm of this song. Um, this morning in the harbor, when I said goodbye to you, I remember how I swore that I'd come back to you one day. And as the sunset came to meet me, the evening on the hill, I told you I always loved you. I always did, and I always will. Fare thee well. Gone away, there's nothing left to say. But to say adieu to your eyes as blue as the water in this bay, to big Jim Dwyer, the man of wire and war, and who is often heard to say, I'm a free-born man of the USA. I'm a free-born man. And that's how the song ends. So let's break it up a little bit, right? A lot of stuff in there, little Irish English, Irish slang thrown in the songs too to make sense of what all this means. So we'll go through it. All right. I mean, so the beginning of the song, it's a cat, you got the scene. You're probably like in Boston or maybe Pennsylvania. You're in one of these, very Irish American settlements, right? Towns, probably like, either somewhere in Pennsylvania, Boston, maybe New York, Staten Island, that area, right? Big Irish part. And there's a house, there's a Cadillac outside. And so then you got, the Yanks are within. The Yanks are doing the Cadillacs are outside of the Yanks were within. So they're probably in the house, like, talking. But the Tinker Boys, which is a slang for like Tinker Boys were like traveling Irish. But also it was like a like a slang for like mischief, right? They always kind of like would fiddle with like gadgets and machines, and as it says right there too, usually causing mischief. Tinker Boys whisper, hotwire her with a pen. They're trying to hotwire this dude's Cadillac. Probably, it sounds like it's Jim Dwyer's. Probably, after he died, they're going to try and go have some fun while they're all, while everyone else in the house getting mourning, right? Not really mourning though. And so they go in the house probably to look for a pin to hotwire with, and then they turn, they look, and there's Jim Dwyer, which in Irish houses, I think Italians and Mexicans, like a lot of very Irish Catholic traditions do it to where like you have the body in the freaking fucking house, which is traumatizing as a kid because it's like laying in there before they do the send off, which obviously they're gonna probably send him off to the shores where his father laid, so they're gonna send him off, to the Atlantic or to back to Ireland. Who knows what the fuck they're doing? But they're having this open casket, and so they see this big giant Irish dude named Jim Dwyer. Okay. And so then all of a sudden, after they do that, they get shook up because they turn, they look, and they shook because they see him, and then they you kind of go into like um um the funeral, the memorial, right? And so it says there, uh there was uncles there telling ancient Irish history. Uh the men all started telling jokes, and the women they got frisky because 5 o'clock in the evening, every bastard there was pissy because about 15 minutes later. So when you break that out later, so it's like you go in there, there's kind of like this like little ambiance, and so you start drinking the whiskey, and then within 15 minutes, everyone's shoulders are off, you're relaxed, probably the buzz is going, as they said, every bastard there's tipsy. Uncles are telling the ancient histories of Ireland, folklore, people telling jokes, and um women, they're having fun being, frisky, pisky, whatever they want to say. Which brings you to this. It's now a fucking party, right? You're no longer. It's not this like sad memorial or whatever. It's like they're celebrating his life, and then all of a sudden comes into the legends, right? So then it says, um, so fare thee well, gone away. There's nothing left to say. But farewell to New York City boys, to Boston MPA. So big Irish settlement. So yeah, we're bye to all these, probably people that came and visiting from those areas where he obviously, must have made an impact on his life because it sounds like this dude was a fucking, complete legend. And um, he took him out with a well-aimed clout. And you could often hear him say, "I'm a free-born man of the USA," which a lot of Irish were very proud by coming over to the States and getting that citizenship, whether they had to fight in the Civil War for it or just work on the railroads, all the stuff they had to go through. Because in Ireland at the time, there was like the genocide, the Great Famine. Um, I mean, where the British basically, like they say, they call it the Great Famine. It was a genocide. The British were making sure that the Irish didn't have food because they were making some greenbacks, selling all the fucking food that was in Ireland. So you really look into that. It's a freaking, it was a genocide. You can go to Ireland. I really got hit with that by checking out what they were going through, and then they got put on these boats to come to the States and Canada, Boston. I mean, they went everywhere. I mean, most of the country immigrated. That's why almost everyone around the world. Um, Tends to have some Irish in them, right? They just went everywhere and they spread their culture musically, especially one really big one, poetry, musically, dancing wise, and of course we love our Guinness and drink bars, Irish pub, nothing better than an Irish pub, right? Uh, so where am I at on that? Oh, so basically, yeah, with that real big sediment, it really kind of shows that they left Ireland. They were very happy to come to the States where they could be free because, Ireland has these famines going on. Even after that, you got the IRA fighting. So it's like civil war in Ireland all the way up to like the, 70s and 90s where, I mean, there's just always this constant conflict for the North and South. So Ireland was just this like real tragic place, which is why they have to be the way they are. But when you come to the United States, it sounds like very free country. You're not having, you know, war every, corner, having to look over your shoulder. All right. Then they talk about him, his legends, right? And as Irish are, especially because of where they came from, you had to be a fighter. So when you go to Ireland, you realize there's like a fucking boxing gym. They have more boxing gyms than they do like Starbucks here in the United States or McDonald's. Like every other corner, there's a place with boxing. All these kids know how to box. These people know how to fight. I mean, you got McGregor as well, right? But tons of other Irish boxers. Irish are big in fighting, self-discipline. Um, and it's a huge part of the culture, always has been pretty much. And so when they talk about his fighting, like, yeah, he fought the champion in Pittsburgh and he slashed him to the ground, so it must have been some like great knockout punch. And then he took on Tiny Tantalera, which, by the way, I had to look this up. That's a made up dude, just like a fictional character, but it's like, Kid McCoy, and it's like these little names. So it's like you get this like Tiny Tantalera who sounds like this muscle legend. He took on Tiny Tantalera, like this excellent fighter, and only went one round. He just, knocked him down, right? Um, but he never had no time for Reds, which is like communism, so politics, whatever, um, or for drinks. So he didn't get too far into the alcoholism, though. You could tell he's probably one that liked to slam him down here and there. At least the feel I get. But he didn't have time for it too much, or dice. So gambling, he never got into that, or whores. So he was mostly a fighter. He was a hard worker, fighter is kind of that, that feel you get, which you can picture that very easily when you think of, traditional Irish gentlemen, right? Dudes. And then it says right here too, but he could never throw a fight when the fight was right. So he sent him to the war. So yeah, he's probably very bad temperament, things like that, to where maybe he just, let it get to the best of him, and he's bam, get into a fight, and then it's like, well, maybe you act a little too quick. Maybe that guy wasn't really guilty, or maybe, whatever it is, like you went too far. The justice wasn't that much justice. So he obviously was probably just, very, I imagine, tempered man. And he's a great boxer and fighter, anyways. And so because of that, and given the times, they sent his ass to the war, right? Um, and then you kind of learn about it when he goes to the war. This is where you get a lot of the Irish English mix in, or like Irish slang, where you kind of have to like almost translate it. So it says, after that, send him to the war, fare thee well, gone away. There's nothing left to say except with a slant to Joe, which is like, cheers to Joe. Like, so you're saying cheers. So the whole line is with a slant to Joe and Aaron go. Well, Aaron, it's short for Aaron go bra. My love's in a Mary Kay. All Irish. So slant the Joe is like to cheers to, your fellow, to Joe's, right? Your slant the Joe, slant is like there's just a toast, like cheers, and then Aaron to go, or Aaron go bra, means in Irish, Ireland forever. So cheers to you all in Ireland forever. But my love's in America, which America I can obviously understand that's slang for America. That's what it's just the Irish call it America. They call it America. And so that's why he loves America. He's like, Ireland forever, and I love all, my folks over there, but my love's in America. Um, and then, you know, calling out the rosary, Spanish line from far away. So he's very, Irish Catholic, obviously. So he's not part of the North or the Orange, whatever you want to call it. He's green. And um and then, so along with singing out the rosary, Spanish lines from far away, I'm a freeborn man of the USA. So maybe that's how he got his American citizenship, or that's how he became here. They put him in the war and he earned it, because that was a very common thing for how the Irish got it, or got expedited to it. Um, and it's beautiful. And then it says, yeah, and then you just hear this fucking amazing Shane McGowan, just Irish ballad, punk, fast, fucking music that's just, you can't put the words, you can't dissect that part. Besides, you just feel it. You really feel it. If you listen to the song, I can hear it in my head right now. It's amazing, fucking amazing. Um, and then it kind of sets in. And this part, I don't know if it's like the narrator of singing the song, or maybe it's like another uncle, or it's the dude that's picking it. I can't remember, but it goes then like, yeah, I guess you hear this whole thing. So now the day's over and he's on the hill. And that's why it says, this morning in the harbor, I said goodbye to you. So that's when, like, they must have, farewelled him off in the harbor. So, they're sending him off to Ireland, and, back to the lands where his father laid. I remember how I swore that I'd come back to you one day. And so here it is. And as that sunset met me on the hill, just an amazing poetry how Shane McGowan could fucking write, man. Um, I told you I always loved you. I always did. I always will. Very Irishy way thing. When you keep saying I love you and stuff, you say it one time, we'll be fucking done with it. You know? So, um, you know, so great verse right there. And then, so this is just kind of the reminiscent, very nostalgic part and how the song ends. And then, fare thee well, gone away. There's nothing left to say. We said it all. We had our party. It's fucking over. His life was over. And what a fucking legend. What a tough dude. What an amazing man this Jim Dwyer was. Um, I keep saying, fairly well gone away. There's nothing left to say, but to say adieu. So goodbye. To your eyes as blue as the water in this bay. So it's like he's now, and the eyes turn blue and he's dying. You see in the ocean. It's just like very romantic, almost like nostalgia, just beautiful fucking written stuff here. To Big Jim Dwyer, the man of war and wire, who is often heard to say, I'm a freeborn man of the USA. So you can't get more St. Patty's than that, right? For it's just an Irish American holiday. I mean, they celebrate St. Patty's everywhere, but here in the States, we have such this huge Irish background. It's one of the, you know, um, biggest holidays here, I'd say. You got Cinco de Mayo, you got, um, Easter and stuff like that. But I mean, St. Patty's is one of the, I think, most very, very festive holidays, right? That everyone kind of goes out. That's why it's very common to go to bar stuff. Like I said, our family, we do a little different. I'm not going out and stuff. So we make sure it's fun for the kids. We do the little leprechauns, treasure hunts, get the kids some gifts. We have the corned beef, the cabbage, beer. Um, do even do ice cream just because it's green most of the time. Have fun wearing the green. A lot of Irish music. It's very fun to listen to. It's a good excuse to listen to Irish music, watch some Irish movies, good Irish movies out there. I think that's about all I got on this one. It's just it, and then you got to Shane McGowan. I mean, he died as recently, but he was just such a brilliant freaking mind, but tragically poisoned himself with the bottle. But happy St. Patty's Day, everyone. I think I should be doing more of the Pogues. And there's great other Irish bands or even Irish American bands like Flog and Molly, Dropkick Murphys, the Real Mackenzie. I guess they're more Scottish, but fun. Do yourself a favor if you haven't heard this. Do the Pogues. They have so many great ballads. Shane McGowan was amazing, and this song you have to dissect it a little bit and you get that meaning. And it's kind of when I imagine it, I'm like, man, that's how I want my funeral to be. I don't want people there crying and sad. I want you to celebrate my life because everyone dies. You don't need to tragedize and get sad about something that happens to everyone. Okay, his turn's over. What did he really do? What was the accomplishments? Let's have fun with it. Try and drink the cup this way so you can see that little Ireland. And again, my trip there was amazing. You get there, it feels magical. The place, this whole that whole Emerald Island. Um, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Listen to the song. It's one of my favorite all-time songs. Like I said, I don't know what it is about it. I think it's the music has a good play and the lyrics, just how greatly they're written. Um, it's always in my top five, if not my top one. I probably would even go as far as saying it's in my top three, top two songs of all fucking time. Of course, it changes by my mood. I'm a very big burnout and stuff. And this is one song that's just very hard for me to burn out on. So happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody.